I'm Mayor Sergeant in downtown Tallahassee. We had a big day in court Monday. Donna Adelson being sentenced to life in prison without parole. That's for the murder of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel. But really a big day in court with Donna Adelson speaking to the court for the first time with lots of emotions, and her husband, Harvey Adelson, sharing his thoughts as well.
All right.
Donna Adelson in court Monday and speaking for the first time.
Thank you for letting me speak.
As she's sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel.
You are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release.
But Donna maintaining her innocence.
There are two crimes here. The first was Danny being viciously murdered. The second one is taking my life, the life of an innocent woman.
And condemning the state's arguments against her.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Her husband, Harvey Adelson, supporting her by taking the stand as a character witness, also alleging her innocence.
You are sending an innocent woman to prison. You have taken my wife, and you have taken my life as well.
Harvey also criticizing the court system, to stern warning by Judge Stephen Everett.
A biased judge and jury were influenced by years of one-sided news pieces.
Judge Everett has also sentenced Adelson to 30 years in the Florida Department of Corrections on counts 2 and 3. That's for solicitation and conspiracy. Defense attorneys Joshua Zalman and Jackie Fulford said they will be releasing an official statement, but offered this comment after the sentencing.
Unfortunately, it was not unexpected.
Donna Adelson did state that she'd be looking to appeal. That's so she can have a retrial outside of Tallahassee.
Adelson, please rise. Level of planning and coordination to bring the murder of Professor Markel to fruition was significant in this case. These were not crimes of chance or opportunity, and these crimes also required you to conspire with your son and others. You certainly can choose to deny your involvement and maintain innocence. The court finds the evidence in this case is clear. You will be sentenced accordingly this afternoon. The jury has found you guilty on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the court previously adjudicated you guilty as to these same charges on September 4th of this year. On count 1 of the indictment for first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release pursuant to sections 782.04 and 775.082 sub 1 sub a Florida statutes. On count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections that will run consecutive to count 1. The court will also sentence you to 30 years in the Department of Corrections on count 3. Counts 2 and 3 are to run concurrent with each other, but consecutive to count 1. As to the fees and costs, the clerk can please announce those at this time.
$2,100 as a fine pursuant to section 775.083, $105 as the 5% surcharge required by section 938.04, $20 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.06, Crime Stopping Trust Fund, $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.01, subsection 1, Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $50 pursuant to section 938.03, Crimes Compensation Trust Fund, $225 pursuant to section 938.05, Local Government Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $2 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.15, County Criminal Justice Education, $50 as a court cost pursuant to section 775.083, subsection 2, County Crime Prevention, $65 as a court cost pursuant to section 939.185, County Additional Court Costs, and $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.19, Teen Court Assessment.
Is there any lawful objection by the defense to these assessments?
No, Your Honor.
They will be assessed at this time. The cost of prosecution the court will reserve jurisdiction on to determine for 60 days. If a hearing needs to take place concerning this matter, that will take place at a future time. As the defense's request for the court to make a recommendation to the Department of Corrections to place Mrs. Adelson in a facility near Miami-Dade County, I have no problem making this recommendation. The Department of Corrections will have the final say because this is an administrative.
September 17th, 2024. Leon County, Florida. The courtroom is a vacuum. No air, no sound. Only the hum of the air conditioning and the rhythmic tapping of a court reporter's keys. At the center of it all sits Donna Adelson. She is 74 years old. Her hair is perfectly coiffed. Her blazer is crisp. She looks like a grandmother at a brunch, not a defendant in a murder trial. But then the judge speaks. The gavel falls. It's a sharp, wooden crack that signals the end of a world. For most, a life sentence is a legal term. For Donna, it is a biological expiration date. The finality of that sound is deafening. But here is the part most people don't understand. For a woman who spent 7 decades in the lap of luxury, death would have been easier. Quick exit. Instead, Donna has been handed a living death, a slow, agonizing decay in a concrete box while the world she built turns to ash. Stay with me. Because Donna Adelson's reality is more brutal than the headlines suggest. To understand the why, we have to look at the clinical, high-intensity timeline of a family that treated murder like a business transaction.
This is Cold Case Chronicles True Crime, where every silence hides a secret, and every story deserves to be heard. We uncover the mysteries buried in time, the victims, the motives, the truths long forgotten. Subscribe now and join us as we dive into the world's darkest cases, because every smile hides a story, and every mystery deserves a voice.
July 18th, 2014. Tallahassee. The morning sun is hot. Dan Markel, a brilliant law professor, pulls into his driveway. He's just dropped his kids off. He's on his phone. He is safe, or so he thinks. Suddenly, 2 shots. Point blank. Through the glass. Chaos. Chills. The smell of copper and gunpowder. Dan Markel didn't die instantly, but his life was over before he could even register the pain. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was an execution. But why? The missed red flags tell the story. For years, Donna Adelson didn't just dislike Dan Markel. She loathed him. He was the obstacle between her and her grandchildren. She sent emails calling him the bastard. She suggested a $1 million incentive to make him go away. She was the matriarch. The commander. Analyze her psychology for a moment. Is Donna fundamentally incapable of empathy? Or is she a victim of her own fierce, toxic narcissism? She didn't pull the trigger. She didn't even have to see the blood. She orchestrated it from the comfort of her South Florida condo. She believed her wealth made her a god. She forgot that even gods can be toppled. Now consider the Milestone Erasure. It is December 2025. Outside these walls, the world is moving. Children are growing. Technology is shifting. But for Donna, the calendar is a weapon. Donna is 75. In the outside world, these are the golden years. For her, they are the years of lost life. She will never see her grandson's graduate high school. She will never host another Hanukkah dinner. She will never feel the salt air of Miami Beach or the silk of a designer scarf. Contrast the milestones. In 10 years, she will be 85. If she lives that long, she will be a ghost. Her skin will thin. Her bones will brittle. Her memory of the luxury she once had will fade until the only thing real is the gray of the walls. Let that sink in. She isn't just serving time. She is watching her soul be erased, one day at a time. And what is the inside reality for Donna Adelson? She is currently held in the Leon County Jail, a facility designed for the young, the desperate, and the violent. It is not built for a wealthy grandmother. It is a world of hard angles and cold surfaces. The dehumanizing routine is her new master. The lights flicker on at 5 a.m., a buzzing, industrial glow that never feels like morning. There is no privacy. She is watched while she eats. watched while she sleeps. Her meals come through a metal slot. Starch, sodium, lukewarm trays of mystery meat. Imagine the shock to a woman used to fine dining and personal chefs. Then there is the prison hierarchy. How does the general population view a wealthy matriarch accused of hiring hitmen to kill a father? Donna is a target. She represents the elite. To the other inmates, she is someone who thought she was better than them. Someone who thought her checkbook could buy a life. Now she is just another number. Inmate number 20230008561. She is alone, in a box, waiting for a trial that can only lead to more concrete. As we analyze this, we must maintain a no-sympathy disclaimer. Donna Adelson is not being defended here. Our priority is the memory of Dan Markel, a man who was a father, a son, and a scholar. His life was stolen. His children were robbed of a father. Donna is not a victim. She is the architect of her own living death. But it leaves us with the ultimate philosophical dilemma. Is life without parole for a 75-year-old woman a civilized punishment? Or is it a form of revenge that is more cruel than a death sentence? Is a living death justice? Or is it a lingering torture we've simply labeled as law? Justice or revenge? Which one is it? I want to hear from you in the comments. Does Donna Adelson's reality fit the crime? Or has the system become a machine for revenge? Drop your thoughts. I'm reading every theory. But here is the part most people don't understand. The walls didn't just close in because of the crime itself. They closed in because Donna Adelson couldn't stop talking. While she sat in that cell following her arrest in late 2023, she was still trying to pull the strings, still trying to manage the narrative. But in the world of the living death, the walls have ears. Every phone call made from a jail facility is recorded. Every word is a digital footprint. And Donna, the woman who once prided herself on her intelligence, walked right into the trap. Let that sink in. Stay with me, because the transition from the matriarch of the Adelson family to inmate Donna was sealed not just by the murder of Dan Markel, but by the secret recordings that revealed the true nature of the family business. The evidence against Donna wasn't just circumstantial, it was vocal. In the years following the murder, the FBI conducted what they called the bump. An undercover agent approached Donna's son, Charlie Adelson, with a newspaper clipping about Dan Markel's murder, demanding money. It was a test, a high-intensity psychological probe. The reaction was immediate. Chaos, chills. The Adelson family went into a tailspin. They didn't call the police. They called each other. Donna was recorded on wiretaps speaking in coded language, discussing the problem and the paperwork. These weren't the conversations of an innocent grandmother. They were the frantic whispers of a co-conspirator. But the final nail in the coffin came in late 2023. After her son Charlie was convicted, Donna was caught on a jailhouse call discussing suicide, and then, moments later, discussing her plan to flee to Vietnam. She told her son she was looking at places that didn't have extradition. She was caught on tape planning her escape from justice. That recording is what led the FBI to the airport gate in Miami. It turned her golden years into a life sentence. Analyze the psychology here. Was she fundamentally incapable of admitting defeat? Or was it the sheer arrogance of wealth? The belief that if you have enough money, the rules of the physical world, like borders and laws, simply don't apply to you? As of today, December 2025, the lost life sequence has entered a new phase. Donna is no longer waiting for a trial. She is living the verdict. In the outside world, her family's dental empire has crumbled. Her son is serving life. Her husband is a shell of himself. The Adelson legacy has been replaced by a case file. Think about the specific human experiences she is losing right now. She will never see the 2026 New Year's Eve fireworks. She will never wear jewelry again. She will never experience the simple pleasure of a quiet dinner with friends. The physical decay is accelerating. Prison is hard on the young, but for a woman in her mid-70s, it is a biological tax that cannot be paid. The lack of proper medical care, the constant noise, the hard surfaces, It's a recipe for rapid decline. In 20 years, she would be 95. The reality is, Donna Adelson will likely die in a room with a metal door. No hope, no second chances, just concrete. Inside the walls of the Florida Department of Corrections, the dehumanizing routine is now her permanent reality. She has moved from the county jail to a state facility. The notorious reputation of Florida's women's prisons is well-earned. Violence is common. The heat is oppressive. There is no air conditioning in many of these facilities. Imagine Donna Adelson, who spent decades in climate-controlled luxury, sitting in a cell in the Florida summer. The lights never truly go out. The smell of floor stripper and industrial food hangs in the air. She is no longer the woman who gives orders. She is the woman who stands in line. In the prison hierarchy, Donna is a high-profile inmate. This doesn't mean she is respected. It means she is a target for extortion and resentment. The other women see a woman who lived a life of extreme privilege and used it to destroy a family. They see a woman who thought she was above the life she is now forced to share with them. The mental slot in the door is her only connection to the world. The concrete box is her only home. As we close this deep dive, we return to our no sympathy disclaimer. Donna Adelson's current suffering is a direct result of her own choices. Dan Markel didn't get to choose his end. His children didn't get to choose to grow up without a father. The victim's pain is the priority. Donna is not a victim of the system. She is a resident of it because she chose to play God with someone else's life. But here is the final question for you to debate. Is this justice? Is taking a woman in the twilight of her life and placing her in these conditions a civilized punishment? Or is the living death actually a form of revenge that is more cruel than a quick execution? Does the weight of the years, the slow, methodical erasure of a human soul, equal the 2 shots that ended Dan Markel's life? Justice or revenge? You decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every theory. If you made it this far, comment "the gavel fell" so I know who the real fans are. Make sure to subscribe for our next deep dive, where we go inside the prison life of another name you thought you knew. Thank you for watching.